Bless up, King Kevin in the building, baby. So I'm gonna stand on your word, know that you're able to always work it out. I'm more than a conqueror, yes I am. I'm more than a conqueror. Come on and lift your voice and say, the Lord will live in you. Oh, the Lord is. When you look at me, you will see. Come on up, come on and help me say, oh. Listen, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not to thy own understanding. On thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. No matter what comes your way, just lift up your voice and hey, to the glory of Jesus' name. No longer living, oh Lord, when you look at me, then you see that I'm more than a conqueror. Come on, come on, come on. No matter what comes my way, no matter what the trouble, no matter what the trials, I said I'm more. Is there any controversy in this house today? Is there anybody in this house that knows that you'll never be defeated by the enemy? Because even though his weapons may be strong, there is no weapon that is formed against you that's going to prosper. What's happening? Tell somebody I'm more. Come on. I just want to let this song play a little bit. What's this? Sap, right? Marvin Sapp. Here I Am album, More Than a Conqueror. Anybody more than a conqueror? Let it ride a little bit. What's going on, everybody? Hey, what's going on? Quick live, some inspiration. I feel as if it's much needed. Therefore, we're gonna rock it. Man, that was nice. That was nice. Hey, bless everybody. Getting ready to tune in, checking out a few things. Hope all is well, all is good in your hood. So today's topic is where your mind at. That was just Warren Sapp. I don't own the rights to the song of Ice-T, but Ice-T of Martin Sapp. But I definitely wanted to play the song for everybody. I'm really not sure why the Facebook is not letting me go live right now, but we got Simple Fix. I'm gonna go ahead and just take it live on my phone, so you guys can tune in. I'm more than a conqueror, more than a conqueror, yeah, more than a do it like that instead. So everybody who's on, man, I wish I could play that song again. That song is actually kind of dope. Yeah, I kind of like that song more than Conqueror. You know, I'm more than a conqueror. So, without further ado, I want to discuss a few things with you guys regarding just the world today. It just seems like everybody losing their mind, you know, losing their scruples, losing their morals. Not everybody. You know, some of you guys have good sense, and some of you have more sense than others. You know, but unfortunately, um, you know, we are going through the things we're going through in the world today. I just want to give some words of encouragement and you know, just kick with you guys for a little bit, if you don't mind. As you know, my name is King Kevin. Thanks for joining me. And today is the 16th. I think the time is it's almost 4 o'clock EST. So everybody who's tuned in right now, please share, like, you know, and all that good stuff. You know what to do. Stop acting like you don't know. Now, first things first. And all right, so people on Twitter know what's up. So, wow, where do I start? You know, I definitely always try to, hey, what's going on, Miss Furlow Speaks. I always try to share some positivity, and I'm always trying to look at things at a better perspective. As a matter of fact, I was at a client's house yesterday doing a home inspection, and come to find out they had a painting that said, look at the bright side. So I'm like, wow, look at the bright side, you know, and a lot of times we just need that reminder to look at the bright side of things, because you got the President Biden, the one y'all voted for. I didn't vote for Biden. You guys voted for him. So you guys were just as guilty as the other people who voted for him. Making a mandate to take the vaccine. Okay. I can understand, you know, why we should possibly take the vaccine. But to me, it's just too new. So I'm not gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not gonna take it. I'm not gonna tell you guys to take it or anything like that, you know. Also, I just came across the news yesterday, the day before. It's a mother in Chicago who went and killed her son, 12-year-old son. I didn't realize he was so young. She shot and killed a 12-year-old son because he lost an SD card. You know, SD card, you guys know what SD card is. I have one hanging around here on my desk. I was just looking at it this morning, and I placed it on the side, but I show you what SD card is. I had a brand new one, but SD cards look like this. These SD cards look like, you know, these are SD cards. So I guess the son lost the card. It might have been something very important that was in the SD card, but she shoots and kills her son because he lost her SD card. And I'm like, because I'm thinking this would mean food stamps or some sort of government assistant or some sort of business card, but it was actually, you know, nothing but just something for the camera. You know, SD cards is something that you use so that you can save information and, you know, you can even share and save files on this, you know, but usually cameras use it, video cameras, camcorders, picture cameras. She literally killed her son, you know what I'm saying? And the mother, and I know many of you are mothers out there, you know, definitely mothers, you know, could be a teacher or whatever, a guardian. You know, we see bad situations, but we also see mothers stepping up to help their children no matter what. They never, you know, never put their children in harm's way. But this instance, this mother, you know what I'm saying, takes out her son. You know, and so to take that kind of step, she literally lost her mind. In order for you to lose your mind, you had to have had your mind under your full control at some point in time. You know, some of us I'm gonna stop this music right quick. Thanks Marvin Sapp. I don't own the rights to the music, but I know I might get penalized by the Google gods, for jamming the music. But I love that song, More Than the Conqueror. I actually have a shirt that says that, More Than the Conqueror. So you had to have possession of your mind in order for you to lose it. And we're in society in a world today where things are topsy-turvy or upside down. This is the society and the world we're in. This is post-COVID world. And I made a video some time ago, I would say some earlier part of last year, that the world would never be the same again. I don't care if you're traveling. I don't care if it's relationships, it's dating, money making. The world would never be the same again. And when this woman did that, that was just a confirmation. Or even when the guy killed, an employee at a drive-through because he was taking too long with the food. So he took it upon himself to grab a gun and to go ahead and go kill this man because the food was not there. And I'm like, come on, man, you gotta be crazy for you to go ahead and kill somebody over some fast food that you feel as if it's taking too long. I mean, that is ridiculous. But that's the world that we're in. This is the world that we're in, that we're facing, that, and we're fighting. We're fighting against. And it comes to my attention that what's really going on as well is that this is a fight of faith. You know what I'm saying? We're fighting to maintain and hold on to our values, hold on to our faith, hold on to what we believe in. And so if you wasn't raised a certain way, I'm not saying you had to be raised like the Huxtables or or anything like that. And what was a good family? You had Different Strokes. What other show they had? Family. Family Matters is another one. But they're not showing us these things as examples of how to go about disciplining your children. Dr. Umar Johnson said something very recently in a video. I'm sure he probably said it before years ago, where I've been a supporter of his for quite some time, that if a parent is going to beat a child, let them beat the child, not immediately after they did something wrong, but give it some time to think about it. Maybe even discipline the child. And if you're going to beat the child, beat them the next day, not the same day. Or with sometimes you come from work and you're mad at your child for something, or some child for something, and you just immediately go ahead and punish them. And that should not be the case. You know what I'm saying? Don't take that anger out on them so quick. You know what I mean? And then it shows discipline on your part, because you want them to learn from what you're beating them for, what you discipline them for. You know what I'm saying? Corporal punishment. I grew up getting hit. I grew up being to some degree beat several times when it came to disciplinary actions. It was cool. It was okay for your neighbor to go ahead and punish the child. It was okay for your even teachers, principals, you know what I'm saying? They, even though they banned those things from school, just like they took out prayer from school. But these things gave us discipline. They helped us live upright, to the point where we can actually trust that our neighbor, if they're disciplining our child, if they hit our child or beat our child for something, take a belt, hit them a few times in the butt or in the hand, it was for the betterment of that child, because it takes a village to raise a child. And we're in society where don't nothing make any sense. Everything's completely out of order. And it's causing people to even lose hope in themselves and in their faith altogether. Now, I've written a few books. You guys know that. I've done quite a few videos. You guys know that. I've done plenty of things in the community. I've seen a lot. I've done a lot. I've lived a lot. I have a lot more living to do. Don't let these gray hairs fool you. I still feel pretty young. But at the same time, I just can't go on and act as if I'm not seeing what's happening in the world. Those of you on Instagram, please go to my YouTube. You can find my YouTube, Kevin Dorival. I'm going to get off Instagram. I just want to say, get on Instagram for a little bit. Please go to my YouTube. If you go to my website, kevindorival.com, you will see video of a YouTube link at the very bottom. Please click on that. Well, I can't even put my website on Instagram because they they blocked my website, unfortunately. However, I'm going to put the Kevin Dorival. I'm not going to put the .com on there, but you guys know, I'm going to not put the dot on there, but I'm going to put com. Long story. I don't feel like explaining that right now. So if you guys ever see my website or see my videos, you know why it's like that. So please go there. Click on the link, Kevin Dorival. Follow me on his YouTube or check me out later. So thanks you guys tuning in. Now, what has happened? Just growing up, man. I just can't believe that the world has turned out to be the way it is right now today. And with all these issues, it has brought to my attention that perhaps the government or the powers that be, there's several of them, you got all these different societies. You have the Illuminatis, you have the Skull and Bones, you have oligarchies in different countries who rule the countries. I think, and I'm being convinced that they're doing these, they're passing these policies, they're causing these issues to arrive so that we will lose our mind, So I labeled this video, Where Your Mind At, what I'm saying? Because I don't think we know where our mind is at. I truly believe that many of us are losing it and using COVID or using the vaccine or losing our jobs or losing our relationships as excuses to act a fool, to the point where we're acting erratically, doing things sporadically. There's no order, just doing whatever and however, and there's a lot of movies that predicted such behavior, but I think it's gonna get even worse than it gets even better. So I'm really doing this quick and short video live, and I probably should have just did a whole thing where it's all nice and presentable. You guys feel all good and warm and fuzzy inside. But I truly advise you all to find a way to maintain your sanity. Maintain, your belief system. Maintain, keep hope alive, so to speak. Keep doing what you've been doing. If it was something productive and positive, don't just cave up and give in because things are looking difficult. Now everything in my life is perfect. I've never had a perfect life. I've never had a life to where the point where I don't feel as if there's no room for improvement. We're at a time right now where you cannot afford to ignore the signals or the signs that things are going upside down in your life or in your community. Now, there's tons of books, tons of videos out there, there's tons of motivational speakers who have, cliches and things that many people like to hear, make you feel good, especially when it comes to the Word of God and the Bible and things like that. You're going to take a step further. You're going to have to really invest in keeping the sanity in place, keeping your minds where your right state of mind. Let me say that, right state of mind. Many of us are not in our right state of mind. I just gave the example of the woman who killed her son. She literally killed her son. I can't believe she literally killed her son. She shot and killed her own son over an SD card, 12-year-old boy in Chicago. The guy who killed the man in the drive-thru because the food is taking too long. You got Biden over here passing laws mandating that we take the vaccine, forcing us, all government officials got to take this vaccine. Every single woman has to take the vaccine, except the only exception is postal employees, postal workers, because you can't afford for them to walk out. Because if people in hospitals walking out, think about it. Imagine a hospital with no nurses or little to no nurses in the hospital, or don't have police officers in the streets to help maintain some sort of order. You don't have government workers, making sure that the money is being collected and shipped and taxes being collected so that they can pay for civil duties within, the cities or the government. We are in a very difficult time. I understand that, we just had this crate challenge. Thank God I don't see no more. I don't see those videos being posted no more. That really showed me y'all was flipping out when I seen those crate challenges. I'm like, these mofos gonna really jump on these crates, bust their neck and their back. I've heard a couple of deaths already over the crate challenge. We must don't have anything to do. Must don't have anything better to do with ourselves or in our lives. So I have to ask this question: where's your mind? Where your mind at? And I just had a call recently today from a young man in California. They were calling me about the book they pre-ordered. I wrote the book, The Winner in the Mirror. Some of you, thankfully have purchased the book. I truly appreciate it. And he was calling me because he ordered a book for a family member and last year, but they never received it. And we definitely shipped the book out to several people. To all the pre-orders were fulfilled, but somehow his fell through the crack and they never got it. So, but I'm reading the young man's email before I give them my number. Like, look, man, just call me, man. Let's just go ahead and talk about this. I don't have a number to call you. But I could see already, just through the internet, the energy this guy was giving out. You know what I'm saying? The energy that was exuding through the email, that he was irate over the book, right? Which you pay for something. I don't care how much it is. You want what you pay for. You know what I'm saying? So I can see how people can actually just lose it just like that. They're losing it at a snap of a finger and have no grasp of their mind or what they're saying or what they're doing. That ought not be so, because a person who have no discipline on what they're saying and what they're doing can lead anywhere. That's why you have barricades on bridges and on roads so that people don't slide off the road. And right now, people are just sliding off the road. And the book that I mentioned was of course, The Winner in the Mirror. This is my third book. I really appreciate everybody who supported me and who will support me. You know what I'm saying? Friends, family, and all that good stuff. But after speaking with the young man, and the guy who I spoke to wasn't the guy who actually, had the issues. The family member of his, he got the book for. I told him the book would be shipped out, which I just did ship it out earlier today. It was a reminder of how essential the Winner in the Mirror, activating superpowers, mind, body, and spirit really is. And I explained to the homie who had called me, and I was telling him, because he asked me about another book, right? 7 Types of Queens, King's Desire, which is, all 3 of my books behind me right there. But he was asking me about the follow-up to 7 Queens, right? And I was telling him, 7 Kings is coming out. I didn't come out with 7 Kings because I wanted to finish. I wanted to get on this one, because this book was a book that I wrote so that people who were struggling with, different mental issues or found themselves at a real ugly place in their lives, and I've been there, how to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? If you're willing, because if there's a will, there's a way. You can't tell me that, every situation, every time something bad happens, that we're just going to be stuck in it. No, this too shall pass. Bad situations are meant to pass. And a lot of us are catching hell because we position ourselves to catch hell. I was had a football or baseball with me right now, so I can give this analogy. But we position ourselves in ugly situations, and therefore we're catching hell because of it. If you don't want to catch hell, why not catch heaven? And a lot of times we aren't aware of our usage of our words because we were never disciplined in how we speak. Never disciplined or punished, or no type of reprimand on the words we're saying and how we're saying it, or even our attitudes. Those are catching hell because we have stink attitudes. Our negative energy completely determines how we feel about ourselves and feel about the world. And some people would definitely seek negative ways to deal with negative things. You know what I'm saying? Like even with music, there's, I like listening to some songs. I was just talking about this the other day. I like listening to certain songs because even though they're sad songs, for instance, the Etta James song, I'd Rather Be Blind, right? Very sad song, but I just love the way it sounds. To me, it makes me feel good, even though it's a somewhat sad song, but beautiful nevertheless. A song I listened to last night is that the Shy Lights song that it was about what went wrong with the love. You know what I'm saying? Like, where did the love go? You know what I mean? It's a sad song, but I like the song, and to me, I'd rather listen to music that may be somewhat questionable than to go do something destructive with myself, like go hang out at a bar and drink myself to death, or or drink and go out there in the in the streets and drive and you know what I'm saying until I kill somebody, or grab a gun and why you think people go grab guns and just go shoot up schools and churches? Something ain't right with their mind. You know what I'm saying? They might have had a traumatic experience or a loss of someone in the family, and they blame a particular culture, race, or people who have believe in certain ideas, and they go ham and just let loose. You got people who are professional athletes. I give you tons and tons and tons of examples, but you have one, Junior Seau. He committed suicide, killed himself. Awesome football player. He ended his career with San Diego Chargers and killed himself. Aaron Hernandez, who killed himself as well, who was a fantastic wide receiver, University of Florida Gators, and went to New England, got a big contract, multi-millionaire. This guy was a multi-millionaire, and he goes and kills him. He goes and kills other people. You know what I'm saying? Destroys other people's lives and families. He got millions of dollars. He got a beautiful fiance, a beautiful child on the way. Actually, he had the child before the baby probably just born, maybe a month before he had to go turn himself in, maybe 2 months before he had to, go to court and trial and lost. But he had everything a man could want. A beautiful black queen, even though he was Hispanic. Not saying that was an issue. He was Hispanic. She was black. Beautiful home in New England. All the money in the world. God knows how many millions he had. He signed a big contract with New England for X amount of years. But then he goes and do these foolish things. And this guy is sleeping with other men. He's out there shooting, killing people. But it's not enough. So it goes to show you that money ain't the answer to everything. Yeah, it does answer quite a few, it solves a few problems, quite a few problems, not answer everything. Money is not the world to everybody. Every man every man or woman determines what's important to them and what's not important to them. The sister, Tamia, I'm sorry to hear about the death of the child. That's very, very, very unfortunate. I just had a baby myself, so I don't even want to imagine that type of situation. But my condolences. I tell you what, you send me an email me at info@kevindorival.com, or you can send me a message through one of my social media things. I'm gonna ship you this book. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna ship you this on the house. You feel me? I definitely ship you the Winning the Mirror on the house. I'm sorry about that. At least something I can do, and that's a little example of what we can do to actually help other people who are struggling with different things. You know what I'm saying? It could have been somebody hungry with a plate of food. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things we can do to help alleviate somebody's problem. I remember it was yesterday, the day before, I was thinking about, giving somebody a pair, and this thought has crossed my mind several times, giving someone that I knew was struggling with some things, because I could see it on their feet, to buy them a pair of shoes. Matter of fact, it was this happened 3 times, situation. I haven't done it yet, but one of the employees that I utilized for my cleaning business here in Atlanta, I do have a cleaning business, Sky Clean Air Services. We were forced to, we do mold removal, clean carpets, a ton of, matter of fact, I got some calls to make. I got to make before it gets late to confirm for tomorrow's appointments. But this guy had 2 shoes on his feet, right? He literally had 2, he had a pair of shoes, but the shoes didn't match. He had 1 pair of shoes, one with Jordan, another pair of shoe I think was Sean Kemp. And I didn't realize until we was in the middle of the cleaning, Because I never really asked him about his financial situation. I just keep the business and, you know, cordial and, you know, give him, joke guys, we're going to joke around and kiki, stuff like that. But I didn't know that he was struggling like that. He could be possibly struggling with drugs. So we all have a responsibility to somehow to do something, each one reach one. You know what I'm saying? Like growing up, that's what it was about. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, if a child was acting bad or rude or disrespectful, the neighbor, being the neighbor had a relationship with the mom or dad, had every right or had the permission to grab that belt and spank that child, you know, within reason. I ain't talking about grabbing a 4x4 and go across the head, nothing like that. But, you know what I'm saying, to, you know, tap them on their hands or grab a belt, hit them in the butt. That's how, you know, that's how I was raised in that generation. I was born in 1980. This is like in the projects back in the 80s, 90s. I'm talking about, I never got hit by none of my neighbors, but I've seen it happen several times and there was no problem. The neighbor would tell, you know, when the mom or dad got home, usually the mom, you know, in the ghetto, that's how it was. Usually it's the mom's taking, you know, doing everything, and the dad is, you know, somewhere out there with another woman or another family, completely neglects, you know what I'm saying, his sons or daughters. And where I came from, it was this was the thing. Barely any of us knew our fathers. So we grew up with that pain in our hearts and mind. And if we didn't have our mind right because we had a stable situation to the best, you know what I'm saying, the best of our mother's ability, we'd have been lost our minds and went crazy. But before I lost track there, we can always do something to help somebody else, man. You know what I'm saying? You never know, the little compliment you just gave somebody, or the plate of food, or the pair of shoes. I gotta go buy this guy a pair of shoes. So I'm thinking about it in my mind, because I'm, you know, if I go buy him a pair of shoes for $20, $30, $40, it's not gonna kill me. It's not gonna take food away, you know what I'm saying, from my mouth through my daughter's mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be all right. You feel what I'm saying? But we are so caught up in a society that has taught us, that has trained us to be focused on me, me, me. You know what I'm saying? Like individual type of society, individualistic type of society, when it's really a community. One thing that made Black people strong was the meeting of the minds. Like, you know, you see a few books right here. Actually, you might see a few more books. You see a bookcase right here, right there. It's a little smaller one, and the bigger one back there. You know what I'm saying? That's really most of my books, and there's another one in the hallway. Now, I read all these books. Yeah, right. I was going to say a lot of the books on African culture, I've pretty much read 40-50% of these books when it's dealt with African culture and African history. One common theme that you see in all these books, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, even the book by Chinebe, one of the most popular books in the world. I didn't even know the book was that popular. Like one of the top 10 most selling books in the world. The book's called Things Fall Apart. If you guys have never read that book, you know, you may want to get that. You know what I'm saying? I had to read it in college. But it's a book that teaches you the cultural and community relationships between people. A lot of people be like, man, that's in Africa. We got nothing to do with that. We in America, or we in here in Jamaica, we out here in Bahamas, we in Haiti, we in Trinidad, Tobago, whatever. No. They literally, their whole life circled around the family, circled around the community. And now that we are somewhat dog-eat-dog world, where it seems as if we are so bent on doing for self and not for the community, we see the impacts of that. You go on Instagram right now, see the buffoonery. You know what I'm saying? Literally see the buffoonery or TikTok. And it's cool to have fun. But we are literally being programmed by these computers, by these social media networks, to waste time that we could be using to invest in ourselves, to read books, to read spiritual messages, books that helps us develop ourselves spiritually, increase our spiritual awareness, our divinity. We are being robbed of our divinity. You know, right now in Haiti, And shout out to all my sisters and brothers, the Kareem, Nulu. I just donated $20 to an organization. They were called, what is it called? Truth Haiti. I don't remember. I never heard about it before, but they'll show on a live video of them in Haiti, with the school and the kids learning in school. And these kids are eager to learn because they understand that if they're going to have any chance of survival in Haiti, with the way things are going, they have to educate themselves. And unfortunately, the opportunities are not there in Haiti for them to do it throughout Haiti. You know what I'm saying? Some parts, yeah. But for the most part, they are the future. And they believe in the community. And just seeing the school, and I will share the video of the company that, or the nonprofit that donated to. I loved it. I'm like, I'm big on school, and you guys know, if you guys have been watching me for the past couple of years, or whenever it's been, or even recently, we doing a fundraiser ourselves. You know what I mean? But did I, I wouldn't even promote my fundraiser. My mind was on, how can I help somebody else? Because you guys think that everything's about you and right now, and that's not the case. Because if you don't invest right now into the children of the future, your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews are going to sleep in that bed that you made today. Perfect example. Many of you guys are in scripture. And let me read what Big J said. What's up, Big J? It's like people expect you to live to your life according to their standards and not our own. Yeah, that's true. They definitely people want, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely going on. If you read in the Bible, right? I can't really say exactly which scripture, but I do know that in 2 Kings, it features King David. But before King David even came about, and I was like, who was King David's parents? Who was his great grandparents? Come to find out, King David is from the lineage of Ruth and Boaz. If Ruth did not, if she was not a woman of honor, there wouldn't have been a King David. Maybe there'd been another king or queen some other time in the future. But if it wasn't for Ruth's obedience and honor and being a woman of honor to the old woman she helped, and she could have abandoned, because all the other women abandoned this woman, because when their husband died in war, Ruth stayed with her mother-in-law, who was old. Now, Ruth being a gorgeous young woman, she could have went out there and found another husband, but she found it more important to help an elderly woman. By helping this elderly woman, she was able to, the older woman helped her, pushed her in the right direction to where she can actually position herself with Boaz. You follow what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna get into the details of that story, but those of you who let me get the scripture so you guys at least know. You know what I'm saying? Let me get the scripture for you. All right, so Ruth meets Boaz. What scripture was that? That was in easy, how hard gonna get? Ruth 2, in the Bible, Ruth. But the point is, what I wanted to say was that by her being obedient, she got with Boaz, the richest man in the land. Boaz, years down the road, Obel is they have Obel, and then from Obel they go to and have Jesse, and Jesse's the father of King David. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't even intending on talking about that right there, but it just hit my spirit. What about that story you just read last week? Don't forget about King David. Because I was studying King David, because what King David had did was defy the odds. He defied the odds and became king by destroying Goliath. How did King David get to that position to defeat Goliath, to become king? That's what you guys see. Me, I don't just be reading the story, just be okay, that sounds good. How did you get there? You know what I'm saying? How did you go from point A to point C or Z? Like, there has to be some sort of sequence. Certain things had to happen. Right now, The mind so discombobulated. And when I say that, I don't know, everybody ain't going crazy. Many of us are still doing what we've been doing. You know, we good. We not tripping about nothing. Our money good and all of that. But King David, before he became the king, he was a shepherd boy, fighting lions and tigers and all the other crazy and bears out there in the woods, getting his mind right for the opportunity. You see what I'm saying? If we don't get our mind right, we will never be able to see the opportunities. When King David, I keep saying King David, when David got the opportunity and he understand that the king was going to give him his daughter plus some money, if anybody who defeats Goliath, he will become king. And by him having his mind right, developing that mind, cultivating his spirit, his strength, his skills in war and battle out there in the woods, he's probably with a stick slapping trees and you know, other than, you know, killing the lion and the bear out there in the woods, he was developing himself. The time we had the quarantine, we had plenty of time to develop ourselves. Read as many books as we wanted to. Watch as many inspirational videos and movies as we wanted to. But many of us didn't do that. We chose to participate in these foolish, I want to say something else, these foolish challenges. But how about Save a Black Life Challenge? You know, I posted that a couple of times and barely anybody shared it or liked it. But that's cool. But I understand what I'm up against, like King David. When you understand what you're up against, you're not going to sweat the little thing. You see, that's another reason why you got to have your mind right and know where is your mind. Have control of what you're thinking when you're thinking. Because when you don't have control of what you're thinking when you're thinking, your mind can go anywhere. And truth be told, a lot of us got our minds filled with roaches. How many of y'all ever had roaches in your house? Let me see them hands up. Give me a thumbs up if you ever had roaches. You ever had roaches in your house? Right? Now, what's the one thing with roaches that many of you guys don't understand? Some of you probably never had a roach or rats in your house. I grew up with roaches and rats, you know what I'm saying, in my house in the projects. Even where I live right now, there's a few roaches come. No matter how many times fumigate, spray, clean, still a few roaches are here and there. What roaches represents in the mind. Roaches represent negativity in the mind. See, our minds are we are automatic negative beings. As a matter of fact, there was a case study, and I talk about it in my book, The Wind in the Mirror. There was a case study that said that 95% of our thoughts are from the day before. 80% of those thoughts are negative, but only 15% of those thoughts actually come true. So if you don't tend those roaches in your mind, guess what's going to happen? The same roach is going to come crawling back tomorrow, crawling back the day after that, and they just continue to colonize and get bigger and bigger. We have to get rid of those roaches in our mind. We have to exterminate the roaches in our mind. So how do you do that? Read things that are positive. That's for one. Watch less news. If you guys, many of you all are adults, many people who follow me, many of my supporters or the schools, of course, obviously schools are adults. Many of us are adults. There's a few teenagers who follow me only because my nephews, you know, my nieces and nephews, they follow my YouTube and stuff like that. So their friends, you know, watch, you know, they see and they watch it, you know what I'm saying, because they share it. You know, I got two nephews who are outstanding football players. One is going to FSU. Other one is going to be a senior next year, but he's doing his thing right now. So I'm proud of them because I of course, his parents did a great job, but I invested a lot of time in getting them to read books. And, you know, before they go play football, before we go play and practice, things like that. Like I said, man, hey, you're going to read about Marcus Garvey. You're going to read about Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, Queen Nzinga, Toussaint Louverture, the Haitian Revolution. You're going to read about these people, and I want to report. And so actually it's funny because their mom used to tell me they want to come over my house sometimes because they got to read. And she said, nah, y'all finna go, okay, how's y'all going to read? So that was kind of funny because I used to tutor them as well. But I'm so proud of them. And my niece, I got another 2 nieces and seniors as well. I told them they were kings and queens, and they stuck to that because I wanted them to have their mind set on something high. You know what I'm saying? Whatever career they wanted, I wanted them to have their mind on that. You feel me? So they can grow and prosper and be rich and whatever else. That's why kids have. They may say they want to be a fireman, they want to be a doctor, they want to be a police officer, they want to be a surgeon, they want to be obstetrician, they want to be, all these different things. And these are very high goals. Now, as adults, we know these goals ain't gonna be easy, but it's good for them to reach high because they're not gonna reach all of those goals. But as long as you reach for the moon, if you don't get the moon or the stars, you guarantee to get a handful of stardust. You're gonna get something out of it. And that's why we have to invest in getting our minds right. Because it impacts our faith, it impacts our relationships, our business ideas, our confidence in ourselves, our outlook on life and the worldview. You feel me? Even Marcus Garvey once said, as a matter of fact, I'm reading a letter next week. Hey, I appreciate that, Big J. Appreciate it. I was watching, and I went to school with Big J, play football with him. Thanks for tuning in. I'm speaking at an event next week, next Friday, the 24th, with the Cultural Center International here in Atlanta about the 1906 riots, where they call it riot, but really was a massacre of black folks in Atlanta. And I'm going to read a letter that Marcus Garvey had wrote, and a beautiful letter he wrote. And in that letter, he highlights General Toussaint Louverture. He also highlights Sojourner Truth and Crispus Attucks. And but I'm reading that letter because he was stating why we don't see good in ourselves. Like, why not see good perfection in ourselves? It's a powerful letter. I'm also going to be reading the poem by Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, Bury Me in a Free Land. Very powerful poem. It gives me, I remember when I first read that poem, how it made me shiver. Whenever I go to Walmart, you guys have the long Walmart lines be. I always try to keep a book in the car so I can, if it's a long line, I have something to read. And I remember reading this poem called "Bury Me in a Free Land." I remember shaking as I'm reading it because it was just so powerful. Like, don't bury me in America. Bury me somewhere where black people roam free. And there was no free land in the world outside of Africa if it wasn't Haiti. Haiti used to be the land of the free. Freedom land is what they actually used to call Haiti. Which is not the topic of the story, but even in Haiti during the Haitian Revolution, General Toussaint Louverture was the greatest leader of all time. I don't care what time period you name or culture. Toussaint Louverture was the greatest leader of all times because he was a humanitarian, he was a liberator, and he defeated France, Spain, and Britain. Name any country who could defeat those three powerful countries at the height of slavery. A black man did that. And we're not taught about that in school. But I'm going to digress on that because that's not the topic of this video. And it's a crime that they don't teach General Toussaint Louverture or the Haitian Revolution in school. And there's a reason they don't do that. What ties in perfectly with this video that was supposed to be 10 minutes, but I'm going about 50 minutes now. The reason they don't teach our children about General Toussaint Louverture or the Haitian Revolution that freed possibly millions of Africans around the world is because it got black folks to get in their mind, their right mind. Black folks were in their right minds, ladies and gentlemen. That was highly, very, very powerful stuff. To be in the world as a black person, you had to have been taken out of your right minds. We had to be turned backwards for it to work. That wasn't working in the time of the pharaohs. You know what I'm saying? When we were building pyramids and studying the stars and stuff like that. But when the slave trade happened, they understood that we knew we were we were divine people of divinity. We were brilliant people. We were very, very self-assured, determined. We were very confident in ourselves, extremely intelligent. And they had to do whatever they had to do to get us out of our right minds. How do you do that? You oppress the people, take away the culture, take away the religion, the identity, the names, take them away from their land, separate them from the family. You guys familiar with the Lynch letters? That was important. They had to do those things to get us out of our right minds. And they knew it in Haiti. Matter of fact, Haiti was so toxic to white supremacy, that is. Haiti was so toxic to the slave trade. Haiti was it was the Achilles heel to the slave trade. That France, under Napoleon Bonaparte, which I did a few videos about in my iconic legacy series, that they wanted to exterminate all Haitians, all adult Haitians on the island. They wanted to exterminate them and only keep the women, and not even the women, just the children alive. They had to destroy the women as well. They tried to do it and they couldn't do it. That's why Haiti is suffering to this day. But the point I'm trying to make is Tucson had the people so amped up and confident back into their right minds that the powers that be understood they had to eliminate him and everybody else. And yes, Big J, even Hannibal. Now, you already know Brother Hannibal and also Shaka Zulu, you know what I'm saying, two great military leaders. But I'm talking about on an international scale, you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of great military leaders and even people who weren't in the military, just you know, they used democracy to get things moved along. Booker T. Washington, perfect example. You have also people like Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey, you know, Queen Nzinga. She wasn't trying to be no diplomat or be democratic about anything. Boy, Queen Nzinga was cutthroat. But General Tucson, he literally, you can say, if they did not win that battle, that was 12 years, by the way, and according to some historians, you can say probably longer than that, because you know people were fighting all over the world. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot more. Matter of fact, there was a lot more rebellions, you know, of slave revolts going on in places like Jamaica than anywhere in the world. But the Jamaicans they didn't win any of the big battles as the war because they weren't united. Tucson had the international mindset and intelligence to get everybody together. That's why it's so important to be in the right state of mind. Because when you're in your right state of mind, your faith increases. You're in the right state of mind, your love increases. You understand your position in the world. And it's just not about our little block that we hang around in the corner, that we drinking and, you know, smoking on the corner. It's about our position in the United States and in the world. And right now, we're not winning. And half the world is kind of going crazy. Did you guys know in Denmark, and I'm going to change the subject, did you know in Denmark they actually passed a law? Just to tell you how backward minds is. Did you know that they passed a law that people can sleep with their pets? Their dogs and cats and mules and cows and stuff like that? Did you guys know that? During COVID, they literally passed. So that's the government passing some sick laws like that amongst the people. Isn't that crazy? They literally passed a law you can sleep with your animal, man. And it's not even funny. When I heard that, I thought it was a joke. None of them got all the fake news out there. They actually did that. And believe it or not, in America, and one of my biggest regrets, you know, as a student, because you know, obviously I'm gonna be a student forever till the day I die. I threw away my history notes from my history course in college. That's probably the most stupidest mistake I made as a student, because I love history. I didn't know at that time how much I loved it. I just thought maybe I just like the movies, you know, medieval movies by kings and queens and wars and all that good stuff. But in that notebook I threw away, which I got an A in the class, but I'm not surprised. We studied the fact that in the colonies, they literally had to pass a law to stop the owners, people from Britain now, who came to the first people who, you know, not the first inhabited America. Obviously, they were indigenous indigenous brothers. Some people say black men and women were here already. But these people from Britain were sleeping with their animals. So they had to pass a law to stop that. Matter of fact, Christmas was even outlawed because of the orgies they were doing. And original Christmas was not what you guys see today with the colorful lights and the Christmas trees and the beautiful gifts and things like that. Christmas was a satanic, demonic holiday, the original one. You know what I'm saying? What they were doing, that's why they had the mistletoe. You kiss under the mistletoe and, you know, it was to do orgies, not kiss. It was to do orgies under the trees or light big white thing got the Christmas lights on the trees. And so that they can, and back then, medieval times, what they used to do is light the trees on fire in the middle of the woods. And this was to illuminate, first of all, to worship whoever they were worshiping. I don't care to study that stuff. I'm not really into that. I just know, you know, about it. They light the tree on fire so they can have sex with strangers, perfect strangers. Everybody just butt naked in the woods, just doing their thing. And this is what they used to do. These people are not in their right minds. And I slowly but surely see that the past is repeating itself right now in the present. Right now in the present. And we can't afford to have our people lose their mind and continually lose their minds. We have to recapture our minds so we can recapture our faith. That's why, you know, the Bible says, you know, God did not give us, you know what I'm saying, a double spirit. You know what I mean? Which is a confusing spirit. He gave us a spirit of love, strength, and a sound mind. You know, so you can make decisions and stick to it and run it. You're not gonna be a flaky person. You're not gonna be someone who can't be depended on because you crazy or you lost. I got a friend of mine named Payback. Some of you guys in Florida, you may even know Payback. Payback was a friend of mine who was a rapper back in South Florida, brilliant rapper, off the chain, very talented, but his mind wasn't right. His manager at the time told me, you know what I'm saying, we could have went far, but we couldn't do it because he couldn't be depended upon. He was always, you know, missing shows, doing crazy. Matter of fact, he missed the show that he was supposed to do in Fort Lauderdale, big show, my homeboy BSU, Bottom Size Up, back over there by if you guys know where the riverfront in Fort Lauderdale is, you ever, you know, partied in Fort Lauderdale, then you know what Los Olis is. You know what I'm saying? It was, that's why they call it Fort Liquordale, because they sold so much liquor and so easy to get a liquor license, but that's a whole other story. He flawed out on that show. And a lot of rappers like Kodak Black, Ace Hood, to name a few, from the same area. These guys blew up, but believe it or not, Payback was supposed to been blow up before these guys. I still listen to this man album to this day. And people who jumped in my car while he was playing his music, while I'm playing his music in my car, every single person asked me, who is that guy? Who is that? But you know what? His career never went anywhere because he lost his mind. He couldn't be in the studio. He couldn't book no shows with him. He was a bad investment. A lot of us are becoming bad investments because we are allowing all this toxicity, all this negativity, all of this just brainwashing programs to take control of us instead of sitting down with yourself, meditating, praying, reading some positive things, watching positive things, speaking positive things, so you can be actually a positive being. And the words we use, a lot of us, we talk like chickens, man, instead of eagles. You know, in my book, there's a chapter where I talk about eagles versus chickens. You know what I'm saying? So, and I make it a very, you know, the beautiful chart. You can see how some people, you know, talk like chickens, the words they use. You know, I can't do this, can't do that. This will never work out. And you have people who speak like eagles. Oh yeah, I'm going to win. I'm doing my best. This is going to work. So it's a different mindset, different consciousness. And so that's what I want everybody to get from this video, man. Get a different consciousness, a different level of consciousness so that you can actually succeed, not just succeed, but Exceed your own expectations. Impress yourself. Don't just settle for mediocrity and think that everything's just gonna be okay because I'm comfortable being average. Actually, I'm gonna do a video on that of stop being comfortable with being average. God didn't put you here to be average. He didn't put me here to be average. So I know He put you out here to be average. The better you are to yourself, the better you are to your family, to your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, boyfriend, son or daughter, to your peers in school, your co-workers. That's what it's about. Exceeding your own expectations. Set your bar high like the little kids. Go back to that faith you had as a little kid. You feel like you lost your faith, even if you have faith the size of a mustard seed. You know what I mean? Just a little faith, and build on that. You don't have to like spend time showing people all day, all night what's going on with your personal life on social media. Man, forget all that, man. You talking about keeping with the Joneses? People are doing that in an insane way online. Forget all that, man. Focus on you and what matters to you. You determine that. Get a map for your life. Must achieve purpose. Very important. Must achieve purpose. If you don't have that, if I don't care how old you are, you can be 30 years old, 40, 50, I don't care how old you, 10, 12. Everyone must have a map of their lives. I call it MAP. Must achieve purpose. Create one. Create one because it gives your brain cells a direction. It gives your brain cells a route to go in this life. If you don't have a route that you're gonna stick with, you're going now. Sometimes you gotta make some adjustments. Don't think because you got a agenda for your life and this gotta happen by this time. It's good to have lifelines for when you want to accomplish things, but don't stick to it so much. Don't be so stringent to it that you don't want to adjust it a little bit to get to the bottom line. Find out what your map is. You will find out what your purpose is. Ladies and gentlemen, man, it's been a pleasure. Thanks to Tamia for tuning in and everything. And thank you. Man, you're very welcome. Very welcome, Tamia. Tamia, Miss Furlow, Big J tuning in, Miss Andrea, Mono. Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I got to get going. It's Atlanta. I'm about to jump straight into traffic. Matter of fact, I was about to go pick up a check. I ain't going to have time to pick it up today because it's almost 5 o'clock. So I'm not going to kill myself to do that. But you know why? What I just said right there? That just shows you I'm in my right state of mind. I'm not going to go drive out there knowing it's going to take me 20 minutes to get somewhere. And I'm not going to get there in time. So why not just chill? You're not going to stop putting a gun to your head unnecessarily. A lot of us do that. For what? You know what I'm saying? Live to fight another day. Live to fight another day. Many blessings, peace, prosperity, and definitely thanks for tuning in. More information about me, my websites, KevinDorival.com, with DivineBooksAndArts.com, at Curse Bleed. Thanks for subscribing. Please share this video. I really hope it's been a blessing. I really was supposed to do a 10, 20-minute video. It ended up being an hour. But I'm very thankful that I was able to, put some kind of positive energy out there. Because it's so much, man, we're inundated with so much negativity that it's almost normal. This is the new normal. You know what I'm saying? Being in panic mode, worrying, suffering. You know what I mean? That ought not be so. No, everything's not going to be perfect. There are going to be rain. There's going to be some thunderstorms or hurricanes, obviously earthquakes. But this too shall pass. You know what I'm saying? This too, tell yourself that this too shall pass. Even if it's some pain will linger for the rest of your life, but it doesn't have to consume you to the point where you can't even think right. There's a time for mourning. There's a time for joy and celebrations. But even with celebrate, you are not to celebrate every single moment of your life. Appreciate it, but not every moment going to be a celebration. Not every moment going to be a pain and suffering. Enjoy the victories when you can, while you can. Tell people you love them while you can. Show love while you can. Give to those who are in need while you can. Because let's believe me, tomorrow, not even the next hour is guaranteed. All right? Bless up, peace, and I'm out. Much love.